Welcome to Danielle's World. I'm a semi-retired nurse, PRN princess, currently working in public health, hospital nursing doing CPR training, and retail. Also be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and click the all notification bell. Check out my playlists. Go to the community post section to learn about my content. Welcome everyone. I'm heading to the public health contract job. I was looking the other day and I saw an opening for merchandising, and it was with Hallmark, and then another one was with American Greetings. And the interesting thing is, the one with American Greetings, the assignment isn't far from where I live. It's about 3 locations that you would be doing the cars for, and just American Greetings stuff. It's a perfect job for someone that's semi-retired, or maybe you're in college. But that assignment sure looks good. I was listening to this lady. She's a black woman, and she has it's the niche is black women that travel and which are the most welcoming, and tips and clothing. And she was talking about a couple locations that are known to be not welcoming to black people. And I was looking at my itinerary, and she named a couple of the places that are on my itinerary, and I'm like, ugh. Now, one of the places that I will go ahead and say that it's not on my itinerary is Ireland, and that place has been listed as one of the most welcoming places for black people. And it has me thinking, should I change, or maybe next time? And my daughter has actually gone to Ireland, and she confirmed the same thing. Okie doke. I keep getting this email saying for this dollar amount that it's been renewed. And I know that I don't have anything like that. I've checked all my credit cards. There's no such charge like that. It's definitely phishing or scamming, so I went ahead and blocked it. So I'm just going to always look at my credit cards and stuff like that. Ooh, I don't want to get into that. Y'all be careful. And if you have some older family members, just make sure you check in with them. Hi, everyone. Here are 10 things. 10 things to think about if you're going to semi-retire. So number 1 is, are there any expenses you can get rid of? Do you have any expenses? I will give you a couple examples. Dry cleaning. Something as simple as buying clothes that don't require dry cleaning can save you a lot of money. Go ahead and do it now before you leave the job, and take that extra money and put it into your retirement. Put it in an emergency fund. Put it someplace. Get a sink fund. That was number 1. Number 2. Oh, wait a minute. We're not up to number 2. I'm going to give you an example, another example for number 1. Already talked about the dry cleaning. The other thing that you could think of is cutting out cable services. Maybe just do internet, and maybe one subscription you like. 2 at the most if you have kids that like certain programming. Yeah, so I cut out cable and I save so much money. The next thing is clothing budget. Your clothing after you semi-retire may change. You may be in a uniform, and you may have to change your wardrobe. I know it sounds strange, but if you've been in a uniform every day, like a lot of nurses, you might have to Yeah. So think about that. Think about your clothing budget. Maybe if you know you're going to semi-retire, start getting some, they call it the capsule wardrobe. They used to call it that. But when you're working the full-time job or whatever you're doing full-time, maybe start buying some pieces that you could use in semi-retirement. And when you get your clothes, make sure they're clothes that you could wear them in different places with different accessories. Like, I take this off and I go into the gym and I'm getting on the treadmill. I know some people, they have separate gym clothes. I just wash them right after, okay? Yeah, so think about that. The next thing that you have to think about is medications. Are there specific medications that you're going to need? And research what type of insurance you're going to have, what kind of medication coverage you're going to have. It's something that's very important. You need to check that, what coverage you're going to have. The next thing that you need to think about when you semi-retire is healthcare. If you're going to be doing COBRA, which I don't really suggest you do, it's super expensive. Go ahead and start looking into insurance that you're going to buy. I know a lot of people talk about the Affordable Care Act, but I'll be honest with you, I used insurance from a previous job I had. All right, so this previous job I had, and I was able to use the insurance. I was actually able to use it for myself and my daughter until she turned 26. And with the insurance, I did a video about this a while ago. Be real careful, because I had something happen with my daughter when I was helping her to get her insurance after she happened to go to a regular, like an insurance broker, and got her insurance. She didn't go through Affordable Care Act or anything like that. Be careful, because sometimes some of these places are not legitimate and they will try and sign you up for these plans that are not insurance. They are in fact accident and indemnity insurance. The other thing is, when you semi-retire, you need to be thinking about your income versus your expenses. And people think, oh, well, I'm not going to be working, well, I'll have less expenses. Not necessarily. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. So you need to look at what's your fixed income going to be, what's your variable income going to be, and compare it to what your expenses are going to be. Okay? This is very important. And don't just think about it. You need to put it in a spreadsheet or put pen to paper. It's super important. You need to look at how your income is going to change over the years. And think of it from a 10-year horizon, at least 10 to 20-year horizon, at least 10 years. Yeah. The next thing you need to think of is your exit date. When are you planning on leaving? And plan it out. I planned it out month by month when I was leaving the job, even though it was due to a hostile workplace. Alleged. I just say that it's not alleged. It was a toxic workplace. Okay. But I went ahead and looked at, for each month I had something that I was working on, especially when I was on the stress-related leave. I started thinking about, okay, I didn't really want to come back, but I did come back. And that was strategic. I planned it all the way down to like resignation letter and all that stuff. I was thinking at first that I was probably going to try and stay until like maybe leave after Labor Day. All right, so I'm back. I was talking to my mom. What did I have? Healthcare, income. We were at the date of the exit. The next thing is your 403B and 401k. It's always best to keep it and roll it. But if you're in a situation where it's like you really need to leave that place because it's toxic, that might be an option. It isn't the best option, but it is a option. So you just have to think about that. All right. But I'm not a tax expert, or all I can say is when I drew down some of my 403B money, I made sure that I prepaid all my taxes. So I didn't have any like surprise taxable moments. So the next thing is house maintenance. Are you going to keep your house? Are you going to sell your house? Are you going to, just like what are your plans in terms of your housing? Children, you'll need to have a conversation with your children. Now, if they're completely self-sufficient, yahoo for you. But if you have some children that are young adults, you have to say, look it, I'm about to semi-retire. The spigot isn't completely cut off, but be mindful and plan accordingly. So, yeah. Especially if your children have, even though they're adults, if you have been helping them financially, you have to have a conversation with that. They have to figure it out. Or if you're going to still help your kids financially, you have to have a budget for that. Maybe you are going to still help your children. Maybe you are in a situation where if you have a child that, I keep saying child, if you have an adult child, maybe they're have some circumstances. I'll give an example. This person I know that has a child that's neurodivergent, and they had them in private school, but one thing my mom says, you can't throw money at everything. I really think that they would have been better off being in public school and go to this technical place that a lot of the students that are neurodivergent and have certain challenges go to and get a job skill. They have people coming out of there, gainfully employed. Okay. But if you're going to be in a situation like that where you're having to help an adult child, you can only do so much. And if they have any kind of, if you even think for a minute that they might be eligible for some kind of, I want to call them entitlement programs, but if you think that they might be eligible for Social Security or some kind of disability or something, please research with them, because they may not know how to do better. That's really all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. Or you may have some adult children that are just late bloomers. They're just not getting it together. You'll have to have a conversation with them. Look at, okay, don't be coming over here expecting for it to be the way it used to be. Because I had a coworker, her kids knew her payday better than she did. Lovely lady. She's doing good now. She's doing. Yeah, she's doing well. My understanding is she took some of her money and paid off her house, and then put the rest of it in like bonds and did some stock stuff. Basically, I said, she's like, I want to pay my house off. I'm like, okay, well, leave some of it here, because you got that, and then put the rest in stocks. And whatever you make money on, draw that down, prepay the taxes, and use it to pay off your house if that's really important to you. I personally, it's not important to me right now. I'll just let the mortgage ride out. But anyway, okay, so kids. The next thing is disposable income. Now, if you're wanting to do travel and stuff like that, you have to put that into your budget and everything. If you're the type of person that, like, you don't really necessarily want to be traveling all the time, that's fine. Your budget might be less. But you have to put it in your budget. You definitely have to put it in your budget. So, did you hear me say put it in your budget? Yeah, that's. So I haven't been on any vacations or anything. I was putting my money aside to be able to get out of there when I needed to get out of there, because I knew that eventually it was going to get toxic, especially when some of my specific coworkers left and people started retiring and stuff like that. I knew I was going to have to get out of that place. If you have kids, I really want you to focus on that number with that kids. I have if your kids are on your health insurance, if you are helping them with car insurance, if your kids have been in any car accidents, okay? If you've had your kids on your car insurance since they were 16 years old and you have more than a couple kids, I had this doctor tell me this. He's like, oh, you're gonna get your kids cars? He told me that his car insurance was more than his mortgage. Okay. It's from my lips to God.